All right, Buck, we're back with a new story from
Did you
WFLA.com.
just call me a moron in that ad?
What?
Did you call me a moron in the ad?
Probably.
It said these two morons. How did these two morons make a podcast? I'm not a moron.
Listen,
You gotta change it.
you're the one
You gotta
that's
change it.
you were the one that set me down the path of this whole podcast adventure. Okay, I just want to point that out. I didn't want. Oh, I'm going to do a podcast. No, it was because of you. Okay.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do a podcast, but I don't know how to do any of that other stuff. I just
I don't know how to
want
do
to
the
talk.
technical stuff, so I ended up doing all the technical stuff, and then here we are. you
Yeah.
know. Okay, are you done being like offended? Can I keep going now?
No, I'm still triggered.
Okay, well, get it out of your system because here we go. This comes from WFLA.com. Pinellas man says he's Jesus and traps minor in a locker room and kisses him. Yes, indeedy. This is another fucked up teacher story, folks. A Dunedin man is facing charges after he allegedly trapped a minor in a locker room and kissed him without his consent. Police say James Trevor Brian Thompson walked up walked up to the victim inside the locker room at Clearwater Church Fitness and talked to him about love and being a vegan. Well, now you know he's fucked up. He also said that he was Jesus Christ in another life and tried to give the victim a hug. When the victim tried to get away, Thompson, who was about 100 pounds heavier than the victim, used his body to block his path and prevented him from leaving the locker room. He gave the victim an unwanted kiss during the incident. Another person witnessed the alleged act, and Thompson was arrested. When interviewed by detectives, Thompson admitted to kissing the victim. He was arrested for simple battery and false imprisonment and booked into the Pinellas County Jail. He was released on a $5,500 bond. Okay.
Was he not convicted for any of the assault that happened in
Well,
that scenario?
he's out on bail right now. He hasn't gone to trial.
Oh, okay, okay.
But, he's he's only charged with simple battery and false imprisonment. What about attempted rape?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a minor. There is no consent. There is no consent.
And it sounds like there's clearly, like, not even a question. Like,
It was even witnessed, for God's sakes.
yeah, that guy. What happened to the guy that was witnessing this? Or what did he do? Did he step in, or?
One would hope. But, I mean, so we've been talking about this kind of thing. And, we talk about how, like, when a male teacher goes after a student, they usually get the book thrown at them. And then when a female teacher does it, it's high fives all around, and it's not any different in my opinion. You have a person who's using their authority to initiate a relationship that whether it is consensual or not, it's still deemed by societal standards to be improper. We've decided as a society that we do not want our children engaged with these type of relationships, but also the fact that you look at like most professions, let's say corrections for example. Even when a member of staff and a participant, inmate, whatever you want to call them, engage in any kind of activity, consensual or otherwise, it's automatically rape because it's rape under the guise of authority. And the same thing is true with teachers. They're using their authority because they have the theory of locus parentis that allows them to act in the best interest of the child, to make decisions on behalf of the child, and to act as a parent in lieu of an actual parent being there. But they can also override the parents in some situations. So to say that a teacher has no like a student has no reason to feel that the teacher has authority over them and to interfere what could possibly happen is ludicrous. So why is this not instantly charged with a rape of a minor?
I, I don't know. It seems pretty cold cut to me.
This is just absolutely it's a disgusting to me.
And this kind of thing is going to validate anybody else that you know is the only reason they're doing it. The only reason they're not doing it is because they're scared of the law. If people, like, the story comes out, they clearly assaulted somebody and they don't get charged with that. That's going to make more people more bold.
So this story's coming out of Florida. Florida right now is enacting laws that, if a teacher says anything in regards to an LGBTQ plus relationship at all, or mentions anything of that nature, they're automatically considered to be grooming and can be criminally charged.
So are they saying like it's okay to groom kids to be straight, but it's not okay to?
Well, no, this was a homosexual act right here. So
Oh,
why?
well, right.
So why?
I just
I know. I just like what's the double standard here? Because you would think that the Florida legislature would be like, hang him from the gallows, but instead he's out on a $5,500 bond.
That's way too low.
Yeah,
Because what if
and there's no, and the charges don't even really seem to make sense.
he's shown that he's capable of doing it, and what's going to stop him from doing it again?
And let's talk about the elephant in the room here, Buck. He thinks he's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, clearly not mentally stable either.
In most situations, we when we give like our social liability score to people, we usually do it with the perpetrator. But in this particular case, I don't think it's really adequate. I think in this case, I think I would give a score to the district attorney for not charging this guy appropriately, not asking for a higher bond, which he may have, but I doubt it, considering that the charges don't warrant a higher bond than that. And you're allowing this person back into the community when they're just possibly going to victimize another child. I wish it said how old the child was. It just says a minor, but I'd really like to know.
I think this is like an easy 5, right?
Yeah, I'm
to both parties.
Yeah.
No, I mean not the victim, but like the government and
we are not victim blaming.
No.
Oh, this is just this
like, and this whole Florida law, the whole "don't say gay" thing. I think that's crazy. How can you not you can't don't say straight either then?
See, that's the thing. It actually does. The way the law is they can't actually mention any kind of relationship, heteronormative or otherwise. But that's not the intent. So the intent was you can't mention homosexual relationships or any other kind of non-heteronormative. But the way they wrote it, because they can't discriminate, it was they can't mention sexual relationships or intimate relationships of any kind. So by that standard, they actually can't talk about heteronormative relationships either. So
good. That's if they're worried about grooming, then don't present either side of the coin, and let everybody just be who they
I can't wait till somebody mentions their husband or their wife, and then somebody files a suit or files charges against them because they talked about a relationship.
That's literally what started this, right? It was a teacher's talking about her going on vacation with her wife, right?
I think there was a little bit of that story on it. And then, what? Your teacher's gay? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Do you really, Duck? Do you go through your day and ever look at somebody and go, I really need to know because I don't know what kind of relationship I can have with that person because I don't know what kind of genitals they like to play with.
No. No, I shoot. What if I'm not in a relationship? If I feel like shooting my shot, I take a chance. That was a poor choice of words. If I'm interested in somebody, I'll take a chance, and if they reciprocate, then it goes on. If they don't, then I assume they have to be gay.
All right, I like your way of thinking, sir. Oh well, they didn't want this, then they must be gay.
Right.
I read this situation all wrong.
That's how 100%.
I like your way of thinking. I really do. Well, speaking of politics and sexual relationships, how familiar are you with Madison Cawthorn?
I don't. That doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, well, he is a Republican congressman from North Carolina. And he is, right now in my household, there are two endless sources of entertainment. One for me and one for Sadar. The first, for me, is, I tell you, I am getting nothing but enjoyment out of this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. It is bringing me endless amounts of joy every day. Watching her attorneys bungle their way through life and everything that they try to put up get annihilated. It is bringing me just such happiness. Now, Sadar, on the other hand, she's following this congressman, and let me tell you why. Photographs obtained by Politico appear to show Madison Cawthorn, the embattled Republican congressman from North Carolina, who recently accused his GOP colleagues of inviting him to orgies wearing lingerie in what appears to be a party setting. So, Mr. Cawthorn is in a wheelchair. He's gotten pulled over for DUI several times, tried to use his position to get out of them. Other things, he keeps getting himself in trouble. And here he is in a photograph wearing women's lingerie, drinking alcohol at a nightclub of some kind. Cawthorn, 26, was raised in a conservative Baptist community in Henderson County, North Carolina, and has stalked his political persona on arch traditional Christian principles and the insistence of the importance of a kind of hypermasculinity. His comments about the sexual perversion in Washington made on a podcast, which he later admitted were exaggerated, drew the public disapproval and disavow of Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, as well as other Republican leaders, including those in his North Carolina congressional caucus. The revelation of 2 photos in the latest series of unflattering headlines for the freshman member of Congress in the run-up to the primary for his re-election bid. The primary in North Carolina is May 17th. Cawthorn has 7 Republican opponents who see him as vulnerable. Cawthorn, who was paralyzed from the waist down as a passenger in a car accident in Florida in 2014, in recent months called the Ukrainian president a thug, suggesting Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has a drinking problem, and racked up a collection of traffic transgressions, including speeding, driving with expired tags, and driving with a revoked license. He has court dates for those in May and June, by the way. Politico could not independently identify the photos, which are screenshots of original images. They were provided to Politico by a person formerly close to Cawthorn and his campaign. A second person formerly close to Cawthorn and his campaign confirmed the origins of the photos. The date the photos were taken is unclear, although they appear to show Cawthorn sitting in a wheelchair, indicating this event happened after his accident. In the photos, he is wearing a distinctive pendant necklace that appears in other images and videos of Cawthorn. The photo has started circulating amongst his political rivals as well. Cawthorn spokesman Luke Ball did not respond to multiple requests for comments. After the story published, Cawthorn tweeted that the photos were taken of him during a game on a cruise before he was elected to Congress. I guess the left thinks goofy vacation photos during a game on a cruise, taken way before I ran for Congress, is going to somehow hurt me. They're running out of things to throw at me. Share your most embarrassing vacay pics in the replies. I love politicians that are trying to campaign with social media. I was raised on proverbs, and push-ups, Cawthorn said in a podcast in September of 2020. I subscribe to the Judeo-Christian beliefs. I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I think that my political ideology, where it really stems from, my ethics and my morals and what I think is right and wrong. You look to ancient Jerusalem in the ancient Judeo-Christian values. God, this is hard to say. So right and wrong, he continued. It also clung to a lot of traditional values and a lot of traditional ideals because they've worked in the past. I think they bred a generation of soft men. That generation has created a lot of problems in our society and culture, he said in March of 2021 on a podcast designed to reclaim and restore masculinity in a society that is even more dismissive of what it means to be a man. There's God, only God, and 2 genders. The guy's a piece of work, a hypocritical piece of work at that.
Yeah, it sounds like.
So if you're going to be a real man, you're going to be taking photos of you drinking, wearing lingerie?
Well, I choose not to subscribe to the fact that only women should wear lingerie. So maybe not.
So
But
I will say that I have been in Chelsea, which is the infamous district in Manhattan known as the gay district, and I have been there after dark, and as a matter of fact I attended a midnight showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yikes.
Yes, indeedy, and let me tell you, that was a fun show.
That crowd creeps me out at a normal showing of the show.
I went there with my wife and a bunch of students. Okay. The whole idea of you that you have to act a certain way because you got to be a man. You got to be a man's man. Okay, whatever, dude. I had
Was the podcast Alex Jones podcast?
probably.
I'm a man's man.
Now I
The
don't.
water's dirty. The frog's gay.
And now I don't have a podcast because I am broke. Oh, Alex Jones, you piece of shit. But I mean, it's nothing new for a political person to be hypocritical, and I think this is just another, a showing of how hypocritical that our politicians actually are. And and I even had this conversation with Sadar earlier. If you subscribe to the fact that I am a Republican or I am a Democrat and I believe with everything in all of my heart what my party's doing is correct, then you're a fucking sheep.
I agree.
If you believe 100% everything one of these parties is saying, you're a fucking sheep. I mean, I consider myself, more conservative than I do liberal, but goddamn, the Republican Party's doing some goofy shit lately.
I hate the two-party system. I think it should be thrown out the window. All it does is divide us down the middle, and nothing ever gets decided because everybody's arguing about it. And it's about my team versus your team. It's red versus blue, and not what's best for everybody.
Yeah,
every single scenario should be taken at its face value and make a decision individualized based on the scenario.
There was an episode of Treehouse of Horrors where Clang and Krang, the aliens from The Simpsons,
Okay.
they both ran for president, and it was a two-party system. You have to vote for one of us, and they're like, "What does vote for a third-party candidate?" Go ahead, throw your vote away. And then, then they ended up having to vote in one of the aliens who enslaved the human race. It's kind of that's kind of what a two-party system comes down to. It's which one do you vote for? The giant turd or the turd sandwich or the giant douche?
Yeah.
So this particular Senator Cawthorn, what do you want to give him, score-wise?
Say you should probably give it a 3.
I never try to change anybody's mind. I never try to change Buck's mind. I say he's entitled to his opinion, and he has it there. I'm going to give this piece of shit a 5, and here's why. He is somebody who has political power over other people. He is somebody who's been elected to be in charge. He can make decisions that affect people's lives on a daily basis. And he's a hypocritical piece of shit. He's a liar, and I don't abide liars, especially when they're doing something in order just to keep their position in power. You could take it from as high as a sitting president to as low as somebody who's becomes a deacon in the church and goes, "Oh, I'm in charge of something." Piece of shit, in my opinion.
I can see that. That's fair. Like, this guy is going to tell the people no to his choices, but then not restrict himself to the choices that he told people they can't make.
Yeah.
So yeah, being a hypocritical politician is
it's kind of a prerequisite for the job. It's pretty prerequisite for the job, but when you get called out on it, I'm going to call you out on it best I can. And
right.
If the worst thing that's going to happen to you is a social liability podcast says you're a piece of shit, well, then you're probably still doing pretty good in your life. But but here you are. You, sir, are a piece of shit. That being said, folks, that's going to bring us to an end of another episode. We'd like to ask that if you enjoyed the episode, please tell a friend. The only thing that ever cost is attention, because that's the only thing you pay is attention. If you share us in any way, shape, or form, whether it is on all the different platforms you can listen to the podcast, as well as our YouTube channel, if you just search for the Social Liability Podcast, you can find the podcast in its video format, and you can see Duck in all of his glory, all his plumage. Okay, folks, I'm the Razgrease. He's the BluduckGolduck. Wishing you all a happy and safe week, and we'll catch you on the next episode.